Hey everyone, this is Daniel, and today's video I want to talk about user-based granular permissions. So just to be clear, this is not about accessing the app, or this is not about permissions for the backend database. No, I'm not going to be focusing on that. This video is when everybody has access to the app, but it's what's important is what everybody should and should not be able to see in the app, specifically once they are able to go in, and what items they can and cannot see in that main gallery. So this was actually a common scenario that I saw, and I was asked this question quite a few times in all the recent events. So I thought I'll put together this video with a solid demo and I'll show it to you guys. So what I'm going to do is, before I even deep dive into the whole how-to scenario, I'll actually dive into a freshly built app and I'll show it from different user perspectives so you can actually see how the user-based permissions work. All right, so let's jump in. Okay, so I've logged into my PowerApps over here, my PowerApps Studio place. And if you guys notice, there's now a new URL. It's called make.powerapps.com. And so first thing I'm going to do is just to make sure I'll show you all the three users. In this browser, what I have over here is me. It's daniel.christian. Then I have another browser. In this browser, there is another person. I've just named it after Ashley. And then I got another browser. And over here, this is logged in as another user, and that's Shane Young. So now that you see that there's three specific people logged in as three different ways, let's go and see them from each user's perspective. So let's log in first as me. I have pretty much full access, so let's just see what everybody should be seeing. So this is my app over here. I'm going to go ahead and click on it. And as I click on the app's loading. And this is what I see. Okay, I have got full access to everything. I'm able to see this app. And this app's pretty simple and straightforward. It's just a place where a school teacher or an admin can go ahead and just put in all these test scores for all of these users. You may have actually seen my Power BI integration with PowerApp, but I have this report of all the students and all their performance. This is the exact app that I actually embed into that, or at least the backend database. All right, so nothing fancy about what I can see, because I can pretty much go in, put in new requests and things like that. Let's switch over to the other two users. So in the other two users, let's actually jump into Shane over here. Now when Shane comes in, again, he's able to see the app that he has access to. And when he clicks on it, the app's opening up from the web browser. And as he opens up, you'll actually notice something a little different. So here is Shane, he has logged in, and in a second, when the app actually refreshes, right on the bottom over here, you can see who is logged in, and that's Shane Young. He's logged in. But you notice something, that he's not actually seeing everything that I was able to see. But let's just go and check to see if it's just not him or if it's also Ashley. So I'm going to jump into my other browser, and I'll go ahead and click on the app. Same thing's happening. I just selected another browser so we can switch around easily. And again, Ashley is logged in over here. In a second, you'll actually be able to see her name show up over here. Same thing, logged in as Ashley Comsey, and she's not able to see anything as well. So somehow I'm able to see everything, and people are not able to see, Shane's not able to see it, Ashley's not able to see it. But can we give them that granular level permission where Ashley's only able to see her test scores and Shane's only able to see his test scores? Also importantly, I as a school teacher can have control over which test score that they're able to see. So let's go and do a test on that. So I'm going to jump back to the other window that I had over here. And I as a school teacher say that, okay, I want Ashley now to see her literature score. So I'm going to come in over here in my app. I'm going to edit it. And I'm going to search for Ashley. And I'll click over here. So now I'll go ahead and submit that. And now both me and Ashley can see it. So from this side, nothing looks very different, because I was an admin who was able to see everything. But let's switch over to what Ashley can see now. So I believe Ashley was on this browser over here. I'm just going to go ahead and refresh now. And voila, she's able to see her stuff as well. Because remember, I only picked literature. Now remember, as a school teacher, I was able to see all of it. In fact, there were two Ashley ones over there, but I only selected one. And that's the beauty of not only a granular level permission, but a user-based granular level, not just a whole group or the whole app, but it's a user-based granular permission. But let's just not stop here, because I want to switch over now to Shane's app and just confirm that, hey, this is only Ashley who's seeing, it's not Shane. So let me jump over to Shane over here, just to confirm that's Shane's app, refreshing it just to make sure. And nope, Shane's not able to see anything over here, which is great because that's exactly how I want it. But now I'm going to jump over to me as a school teacher or as the admin, and I want to see Shane see his literature score. So I'll log in the exact same way. I'm going to search for just Shane, and as I just do a quick search, I pick Shane over here, submit that. Now Shane has that permission over here. Go ahead and save it. Again, for me as a school teacher, I'm able to see everything, so nothing that much has changed for me. But now when I log into Shane's window, just to confirm, and if I refresh it, Shane is only able to see his score, specifically that literature score over there. So this was the demo that how I was able to do a user-based granular permission. And now I'm going to deep dive into how I was able to build all of this, what were the formulas, and actually have a demo app, which we will be able to go and rebuild some of that. All right. Okay, so before I jump into the app and we pop the hood and actually take a look at the logistics of it, I want to kind of give you a quick overview of the Azure SQL table. The columns are pretty simple and straightforward. And by the way, this is my Azure SQL, and that's the table. These all columns are the straightforward. I want to give you guys a close eye on this column over here, the contribute, because the contribute is what I'm using for that granular user-based permission. And if you look closely, Ashley's the literature test, the one I gave granular permission, that has in the contribute column has both me and her. And I'm very specifically using the email address, or it can also be the user, because it has to be unique. So it's this is what I'm doing over here. Same thing for the Shane's test one. If you notice, I have me as well as his account over here. And then all the other ones which were hidden for both Ashley and Shane, it only has me, which is what I was able to see. So kind of the backend table, does that make a little sense now as far as how the data is and how it reflects into the granular level permission? Does it make sense? All right, good. So let's now jump into the app piece over here. So now let's go into my account. I'm going to close this one, and I'll use the one which I already had ready for the demo. It's literally the exact same, well, close enough, but this is where we'll go ahead and make it granular. And I intentionally did it this way because you might very well have apps which are exactly like this. The app's working just fine, but now you want to make it granular level permission based on the user, and this is exactly how you should do it. So that's why I'm starting from this app section over here. So as you can see, the app's the exact same way. It shows up all of this over here, and with all the data, pretty much everything. The add edit doesn't have the place for putting in the users for the granular level permission, but that's something that we'll add in. Also, if I just go in right now and share this app with both Shane and Ashley, then they will be able to see it as well. So before I forget, let me just go and do that now. So let me put it as Ashley. She can see it. Let me put it as Shane. And they can both see it over here. All right, permission was saved successfully. Close that. Let me now go into each of the other apps. So here, if this was by Ashley, if I just go ahead and hit refresh, she should see a second app over there. Just taking a second. Apps, org apps. You know what? We'll come back to this later. It might just take a little longer. So I've already hit the the edit. All right, so a couple of things I want to do first from the get-go. Let's just validate that I've got all my data connections. View over here, data sources. I want to make sure that Office 365 users. Perfect, I got it. So now let's start with some of the first things, which is variables. So I'm going to click on the app section over here, and on start, I already have the two variables that I'll need. Now this is critical. You will need this. I've actually already got it pasted over there. I will go ahead and it's also available in the blog in the written section. But you want to go ahead and add these two variables. And I'm usually a big fan of set. That's why if I add a variable, I've set it once and it shows up in the entire app. What I've done is I've specifically used this so that I can differentiate if it is, am I adding a new item as against when I'm editing an item. So now that I've created these two variables, I'll be able to differentiate that. Second thing is now in the gallery, we got to make a change. Because right now as we see it, based on the gallery and the items, everybody who logs into the app can see everything. And we don't want to do that. What we'll do is we'll actually change it to this one formula, and we're going to leverage search for that. So here's how it goes. A search, I'm going to do the search. I'm using the same data source, but I'm using user function over here and the user's email. Specifically from that, I'm looking at the contribute. Now, if you remember, I just showed you that SQL table and it had that column which was called contribute. That's the one that we are leveraging to see who can and cannot see that specific granular level. So that is what I'm calling over here, the contribute. So again, I've logged in as Shane. I've logged in as myself, and remember, I've got access to everything. That's why I'm seeing everything over here. So first things first, let's just go and save that. And I'll publish it later. So that was the main thing on this side of it. Let's also go ahead and make changes to the plus one. Now on the plus sign over here, which is to add another item, again, the same thing which I just talked about is I'm using this place to not only navigate and refresh the data, but I'm also going ahead and setting the value of the add variable to true. Same thing I'm going to do for the pencil, which is the edit. I've set the value to edit, and I'm again the same thing. Navigate to the page, the edit screen over there, and also go and refresh the data. So that way it just shows you what's the up-to-date one. And in that case, I'm actually done on the main screen. Those were only the three updates main updates that I had to do, making sure that now I filtered the gallery so that only those who are logging in can see what they've got access to or what they have in the contribute level over there. Went ahead and added the two variables, and then I set the values of the variables, one for the plus and one for the pencil. So next of the work we're going to do is actually most in the next screen over there, in the add and edit screen. Okay, so in the add and edit screen, there's a few things I want to do again from the get-go. First things first is I want to grab all the permissions available for this specific item over here, especially if it is add or edit. And that is, when I say permissions added, it is actually the whatever was available or the users that are listed in the contribute row over there. So what I can do is straight over here, I am going to, I just want to validate everything I got there, is on the app, or actually on the screen over here, on visible, I am going to put in the clear collect, and in the clear collect, I've put this formula. This formula it clears whatever's in this collection, because that's what I'm doing. I'm getting a collection, and I'm pulling in whatever is the selected item from that row, like in the SQL, whatever is the select item right here. I'm pulling all the available users that are available over here, and I'm putting it into the gallery. I am also splitting it. The reason I do the split is because on the Azure SQL, it is stored as almost one line. But when I pull it into PowerApps, I want to split each and every one of this and add it as a separate item in the gallery, because then that's what helps me do the search. And the split function is doing that. So specifically, I'm splitting items in the gallery, and I'm splitting it based on the space which is available. And that's why I'm intentionally adding that space for two reasons: so that I can save it as in all the contributor people who has contribute access into one row of that SQL table. That's the whole reason. Be able to get it all, separate that, and add it as one row. So just to make sure that you guys understood that. So right now, for that user, I've only got Daniel. So if I actually now go and look at my files or look at collections, you should now see that in my collection, I've already split it because I've selected the one which both Ashley and me had access. It took two from that, and you split it into two members. So when you go ahead and add this collection, you should automatically see that gallery, the collection that is created over here. So that's the easy part. I mean, that's, one of the things. Next thing is we got to go ahead and now add some stuff over there. So if you remember in the demo app that I did, I actually had a text column. I actually had a drop down. I think it was a combo combo control, and then I had a button. So let's go and start adding those. So I had a text one over here. I think I make it a little bit more bigger. So that's one over here. Let me go ahead and rename that guy to something else. I'll just put in my naming convention, which makes sense to me. So I got that. I'll take the default out. Yep. I'll also go ahead and now add, it was a combo box, I believe. Yep, because the combo box is what gave me the option to do the search. So I'm taking that off. Let's see, this guy, I put that in. Its width was 658. Do the same thing, 658. And rename this person as well, or this combo box. Good. And then finally, I want to put a button. Just make it nice and big. And the button is going to be submit. And that is the ADS1 submit. Okay. So on this, the default input one, I got nothing to add over there. This is as is. All I did was went ahead and just remove the default text over here. Now in the combo box one, in its items, I got to make a few changes. What I got to do is allow this to be searchable and search it based on whatever was put over here in the text. Now you must have actually seen me in several of my videos done that. And the reason I specifically use that is because for some reason in PowerApps, when you do a search through the Office 365 users, or even just put in this drop down over here, it only pulls the first 1000. But if you put search, then you can go ahead and search it through the entire Office 365 users. So that's why I actually come up with this technique over here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add this formula, and I'm going to copy and paste it so I don't make any mistake. And in the items, I'm going to put this in. And that's what it is. It's Office 365 users dot search user, because I'm adding the search function over there. And go ahead and pull only the top 999. Because now remember, don't get this confused with this. It'll pull, it's searching through all of them, but it's only pulling the first 99 and 999. So let's just do a quick test just to make sure it works. So if I just do, say, Dan, it should start pulling. See, making sure this works. Office 365 search users, data source. I got the Office 365 users over there, and it is leveraging the search text box. Oh, I know what happened. Watch what happened. And this is a pretty typical thing too. When I click on that, it's not what it is doing. It is searching by city, and I want it to be searching by display name. So now when I go back and do Daniel, I should get that over here. That's pretty typical. I don't know why that situation still happens. Every time I go ahead and open an app and I just refresh it or do any changes, it goes back straight to that city again. That's why I had to go and change it back to the display name. But just to be sure, I wasn't getting any search results because I was clicking on that, and make sure it was changed to the display name. All right, moving along. Now, in the button over here, in its on select, I am going to make sure that it patches this values directly into that collection. And just to make sure that I didn't make any mistake, I went and just copied and pasted from my cheat sheet directly over here. And so in the collection, which is the Access Members collection, I'm taking any defaults which already might be available in the collection, and in the result column of that collection, I'm taking all this information, whatever was selected, I'm just adding it directly over there. So just to make sure it is coming into the access member collection, and I'm patching it over there. So what I want to do is actually make things a lot easier. And I'll now drop that collection over here so you can actually see it. So I'll create a simple gallery. I'll add the gallery here so we can actually start seeing the data that's coming in. And let's see, what did I call this gallery? Did I give it? Yeah, I called the gallery as access 2C, yep, members gallery. Second thing is I think I'm going to delete, and when I delete it, there's going to be some errors, but we'll fix that. Pretty typical. I'll delete that as well. And this one's pretty easy to fix. Just extend it and we should be good. I don't want to add the next arrow, but instead I want to add a delete icon or an X icon, which is in this case is cancel. Here, so that itself should be good enough, and that is going to be my access members collection. And there you go. So now this gallery is very specifically showing me whatever it is in the gallery or the collection that we have. Very simple. So one more thing is now in the submit, I went ahead and added the patch. I also want to put in a very temp label so you can see how that split is going on. So in here, if you see, I'm going to add this little one over here. It's a temp label, but I want to leverage that temp label as well. So I'm just going to call this as temp label. Make this guy a little smaller. And then just to make sure I am not missing anything, if I went into the other app, I think we'll just try it over here. So here, I want to select on it and I want to remove this item. Yep, so that way it can remove that as well. I was just making a mistake. I was hitting the database, but it's actually just a collection over here. So that, and now the final piece is this submit over here. Now in the submit, which I'm not submitting the save. I went ahead and kept the formula over there as it is, but I want to kind of show it to you guys because this, actually let me back up. This formula is only if you're saving it. If it was add and edit, which is fine. Because if you're adding it, then the add variable is true. If you're editing it, then the edit variable equals true. So that's why I added the two if functions. But this comes in very handy now for the contribute as well. So the two changes that we need to make over here is when we are adding it for the first time, this is the formula that needs to be added in the contribute. Add the comma over there. So let's take a look at it. This is the first time we are adding one, right? It's not editing. We actually hit the plus, which is on the top right. We're hitting the plus, and over there, I'm doing that in the contribute, saying that if the add variable equals true, then go ahead and put in the Daniel Christian, and if the edit variable equals true, then you can just concatenate to all the items that are available over there. Now, some of you may be thinking that, you know what, I don't need to even validate the add variable whether this is add or edit because you've already validated that over there. That's completely fine. If you want to do it that way, go for it, and there's no problem. But what I did was I just went ahead and made sure that I was checking and double checking on my code side. What you could pretty much do is just add this piece over there. Like if it is add, which in this case is true, you can basically just say something in effect like this: contribute. And then here, just put in the Daniel Christian, which is over here. That's all you could put in, and it'd be just fine. Because every time you're adding in a new item, Daniel Christian, which is the admin or the school teacher, by default has access to that test score over there. That's exactly what we're doing. So you could leave it as it is. I'm just going to go with something like that because it's always checking. I didn't really over here I'm checking to see if it is add or edit. Somehow something happened in the app and the edit variable automatically became the value became add and whatnot. This is the place where I'm checking and rechecking. Now same situation for the contribute for the edit if item is being edited, and this is the formula. What I'm doing is I'm just making sure that whatever is left over in that the gallery, that's what I want. Whatever is available at that time. Now, just to be sure, I explained that to you, is I may be coming in over here now, and I'll start, say, searching for even Shane. And when I search for Shane, Shane shows up over here, and I can hit submit, and Shane will show up over here. So what I'm doing is I don't care what the users are doing in this part, whether they add anything or remove anything in the edit, especially when they're editing. All I care about is the net amount over here. That's why for the edit one, I'm putting in this formula, which is whatever is available in this gallery. That's what I want to go ahead and concatenate. I mean, what I'm going to go ahead and get it into that contribute over here. Now, if you notice that I'm taking every items from the whatever is in the access gallery, and I'm concatenating it with that space. Now, if you remember, I just said that the space is because I want to make it as one single line using the concatenate, one single line, all the items which are in that gallery. I'm just using concatenate to make it a one single line and then save it in the columns, the contribute columns in the SQL. This combination of concatenate, taking all the values from the gallery and then replace them and splitting it with that space is what does that over here. This formula is how I am able to get one row or one space with that one line with that space over there. Get it? That's a key thing. So you need to make sure that when you're building it and leveraging it, you need to do that as well. So we've got that done over here. I just want to make sure we're not missing anything. I think we're good. So let's go ahead and do saving. Let's save this app. Let me go ahead and publish it. Let me close it because I think everything is good. And right now, the demo one should be good as well. Let me just make sure everybody else, at least Ashley and Shane, have access to the demo one. I see they do. Let me see if it showed up on the art time. Yep, okay, it did, because for some reason it was taking an extra time. But now Ashley has access to that over here. This was Shane, so when I go to Shane's and refresh his, he should also see it on his when he logs in. It's taking a while for the Shane's one to show up, but we'll give it a second. It says it's shared with him. Okay, so it is showing up for his. So let's actually take a look at Shane's now. So Shane for demo. Remember, before they were able to see everything. Now when I go in over here, this should behave exactly like what the demo was. So there was already few which I had. There was one that Shane was able to see. Remember, it was that literature one. So he should now be able to see only that. Yeah, that's pretty typical. So we'll go ahead and allow that. It's refreshing. Yep, and that's the same one. Remember in the demo one, because it was the same database in the backend, right? It still had the same contribute columns. And that's exactly what's happened over here. Shane now is able to see only his one thing. And we walked through the entire process to show exactly how this user-based granular permission is done. But let's also go and confirm if it's the same thing with Ashley. So I went over here, confirm, yep, it's Ashley. This is the one that we just demoed, so I'll click on that. Probably the same thing will happen. It'll go ahead and first time validate if the users and the Azure SQL Office 365 users, and it's refreshing. It's refreshing. Yep, it's the exact same thing over here for Ashley as well. She's only able to see that one literature, but just let's do a quick validation as well. We'll go back to me logging in, and that's the one that we just updated. Let me just refresh that. Come on. Yep, that's one modified 2 minutes ago. And I'll go in over here and we'll make sure that now Ashley and Shane can see their second test goes on literature, because I think both of them had two. So we'll go ahead and share that just to make sure everything's working. So same thing, actually they had one literature and they had math. So I'm gonna let Ashley see her math as well and do the exact same thing. Ashley, remember this is the one that we just updated. So there, she's able to see that. Hit submit, shows up over here, shows up over there. Remember when we added that, I didn't kind of expand it all the way, or I could have kind of reduced the font size. So you know that this is not the first demo I showed. This is the one that we built. I'm gonna hit save, went straight over here. Let me do the one for Shane as well. Shane, see it refreshes, which is perfect. I didn't add a refresh over here, but you guys know how to do that. Shane, submit, save. So now we go into Ashley's, refresh it. Or I already had that refresh icon. I could have just hit over there. I didn't have to refresh the entire, app over here, the Web Studio or the PowerApps Studio. I could just refresh the app. Don't know why I didn't do that. I was just thinking too fast, I guess. Come on. Yeah, I should have just refreshed that over here. But now you can see Ashley's able to see her math score as well. For Shane's, I want to refresh the whole browser. I'll just refresh this one, and now he will be able to see his next score as well, which is the science score. So there you go. I kind of walked you through. I know I spent a little bit extra time showing you all of this and kind of really deep diving into that, but that was the importance of all of this. So again, quick recap. This is not about sharing the database or making the database granular permission. This is not about making each of the app in the PowerApps granular user-based permission, but this is in the app itself, where users, everybody in your company has access to the app, but in the app they're only able to see the items in the gallery or the items in the collection that they have access to. And this is how you do it. It's a combination of getting the users when they log in, and it's also a combination of saving in that contribute column in your data source what all each user should be able to see. So hopefully this was helpful to you, and keep power apping. Bye.